Well, you're watching AniomaTV. My name is Cynthia Nwanua, and I'm here in the office of one of the illustrious sons of Anioma, and he's Professor Utomi. He's a professor of political economy and was a former presidential candidate on the platform of Social Democratic Mega Party. It's good to be here with you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I want to get to know you more. Who is Utomi? Let us know. So people there just see the man Utomi, they don't really know who you are. Just tell us who you are.
Oh, yeah, well, there isn't too much to know about me. I'm a very simple person. I like to think of myself as a teacher. I basically was born in the northern part of Nigeria. In Kaduna. Family lived in Jos at the time. So from Jos, the family moved to Maiduguri. I started school in Kano, and continued in Reserve, in Tunisia for a state. And then I came back south, started secondary education at Onitsha, at Christ the King's Palace in Onitsha. Shortly after the Civil War started, I moved to the Loyola College in Ibadan, where most of my secondary education took place. And then from Loyola College I went back east. I went to the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, and from UNN I went up to graduate studies in the United States of America. I went to Indiana University in Bloomington for some very interesting reasons. My disciplines are broad across the spectrum, partly because of early days of thinkings about which way I was going, opportunities that led to my changing course here and there. So anyway, but it all happened in fairly quick succession because in 1982, I guess I was age 26, I was born in 56. In 82, I finished 2 master's degrees and PhD, and I was back in Nigeria. In 1983, I was named to a presidential advisory position in the government of Alhaji Shehu Shagari, and there was a coup d'etat not too long after led to my returning to the private sector. I was headhunted by a company called Volkswagen of Nigeria. I used to work for Volkswagen at the beginning of 1986. Went on to become Deputy Managing Director, Chief Operating Officer of the company. I decided very early that I would take an exit by my 35th birthday. And so 3 months to my 35th birthday, I sent in 38th birthday. 3 months to my 38th birthday, I sent in a letter withdrawing my appointment. And returned to academia, played a foundational role in the setting up of business school, the Lagos Business School, and spent a good part of the next phase of my career as an academic, starting work in strategy areas, creating a discipline called the social, political, economy, environment of business, starting a center for applied economics at the Lagos Business School, teaching the first entrepreneurship class at the Lagos Business School, and for about 10 years running that to all my former students, who was an Anioma person incidentally, took over the teaching of entrepreneurship there. And I've spent a bit of my time in civil society, acting as a citizen, pushing several causes, including my work with a group that I founded called the Concerned Professionals, which was one of the big real sources of show that led to the affects me more or less, not too much.
Okay. You have a lot of things attached to you. Did your upbringing actually, did it influence your choice of becoming an academia? Leaving what you didn't get, decided to go to school?
Actually, my stories are very almost amusing or interesting, but I think a lesson for a lot of young people. As young people, we get excited by the moment, things that look flashy, that look attractive for now. At the time I was leaving high school, Nigeria Airways was just coming of its own. It was in the early days after the West Africa Airways Corporation resulted in a national airline being founded. A lot of young people were excited about the idea of being airline pilots. To make matters even more alluring for me, a good old neighborhood friend went off to flying school in America in 1970. 10 months later was back, hired by Nigeria Airways as a commercial pilot, and was driving around in fancy cars. So what more did I want in life than to be an airline pilot? So I didn't want to go to university, I wanted to go to flying school. But life has a way of providing you options. In my own particular case, my father had a certain response to my idea. Okay, why not? You want to be a pilot, that's fine, but let's go and talk to people who know about this business. So we went to visit a friend of his, first of all, a gentleman from Owashu, late Mr. Nemogu, who worked for Nigeria Airways, and we talked about it. He said, yeah, why not? Then we went to visit another friend of his, who was a senior executive at Nigeria Airways, and he said, look, everybody says that no, this is a fine thing, but you know what? Some of the best friends you make in life are those that you meet in the university. Why don't you get a good foundation for yourself by going to university, spend a year or two, make friends. I mean, you're so young. I mean, I was 15 when I left high school, and use that time to make kind of friends that you can always fall back on, you can trust, no matter where you are in life, because they knew at this developmental kind of stage. That seemed like a fair deal. So we agreed that I would go to university and spend a year or two, and then I come out and go to flying school and come back and become an airline pilot. Well, as it turned out, while I was at the University of Nigeria, just enjoying myself. Because the idea of going to university was to enjoy yourself and make friends. Strange set of incidents led me to volunteering to help man the department library. Once I volunteered to man the library, there was a library in front of me. If people had to use the library, I had to be available. So, since there was nothing else to do, so I did everything that was available in the library that come and reach you because of the development. And so, from wanting to get an airline pilot, I wanted to go to graduate school. And the very day that I finished it, that was another thing. And I went to the United States.
Oh, that's impressive. There's a rumor that you want to become the governor of Delta State. What informed that decision?
The world is full of rumors. I'm not sure who starts these rumors. But as I've said of myself, I'm a very simple person and a person of service. I'm a person who sees his role as a citizen as being one of sacrificially giving of himself for the good of others. You look at everything that I have done throughout my life, my career, so as a business angel, helping young entrepreneurs, or active in civil society, there's been a central theme in my life. How can we make people's lives better? I'm convinced that if everybody lived when they came and they didn't have evidence of how they touched other lives, they have a lot to pay for. I believe that God's essence in creating man was to make man a partner. God's essence in creating us in collective society as people live in community was to make us a gift one to the other, so that in human solidarity we can work with one another to make life better. And that is why we turn to the scripture, for example, in Genesis 2:15, what we are charged with to become co-creators with God, moving creation towards His perfection. So anybody who has not sacrificially given of himself for the good of others, in my view, is a complete failure in life. And so most of my life, I have lived a life of sacrifice, trying to make my life, my neighbor's life better, not just because I'm an altruistic person, because I know that if the lives of all of us got better, my own life will be even much better. And I've lived in Nigeria and seen a very faulty understanding of the nature of human community. This office is the office of the Center for Values and Leadership, which I founded about 10 years ago because I was so concerned that Nigerians didn't understand the meaning of leadership. Most people who go into political office are looking at themselves. Leadership is other-centered behavior, not about self. And Nigeria is lying prostrate because we fail to understand that leadership is about sacrificial giving of self. So in the course of talking about those kinds of things, I have said repeatedly that for me, public office is about how can you get close to being truly your brother's keeper. In that light, many people say to me, okay, you've run for president, but your people have not had a... And I say, it's not about these people, those people. My favorite office, and I'm really honest about it, my favorite office is the office of local government council. If there's really any office, but Nigeria has made that office purposeless because of the way we organize local government, sadly. So when many people from Delta started saying to me, why would you? I said, it's not because I have something against being a governor, because I would rather be even a local government person. But what I want to see is a collective resolve of the people of Delta to understand first and foremost that the so-called differences, not a liability, is a strength. We've currently played that as a liability, whereas it's a great strength. We've been giving different endowments across that state, and I think that the right kind of mindset in leadership can pull the strengths together and make each one better off, each one stronger for the good of the people of the state. Excuse me. So I have not indicated anything one way or the other about many groups, not Anioma groups. I think the first set of people that came to me and said, why don't you, we are local people, actually came as a delegation, and I was shocked. And I said, why me? And he said, you know, if you look at people of quality, of commitment, of service in our state, it's hard to look higher than you. And I said, you know, I'm always available to serve, and I've always been available to serve in different ways. Don't forget that from the very beginning of this administration, I've played very important roles in Delta State. Even though it looks like I'm from far away, I was in James Ibo's think tank for development in Delta State. I've served in one of the Nwanua's Vision 2020 Elders Council or whatever. I've served on several Delta State committees. Today people are talking about resource control. Don't forget that I, at the lecture in PTF Warri in 2000, the first anniversary of the return to civil rule, was the one who essentially made the word resource control popular usage. Don't forget these things. But I have been very intimately connected to developments in the state. Somewhat frustrated, but we've not gone as far as we could go. And I said to those people who came to me that I am not disconnected, but I am not. It's not about power for me. It's about how people can make progress, and that's what I will learn about. Okay.
But some people say you're actually doing for your personal ambition. What have you got to say about that?
Personal ambition to do it?
Yes, that is why you ran for presidency, and since you were not able to win, that you want to go in for that election.
If you have brains at all, I've already looked at my life and the things I've stood for. If you have any brains, they will know that they are not thinking. My life, if I had my way, I wouldn't run for anything.
Okay. Now, are you aware that the ruling party in Delta State for the governorship election?
I'm not sure why we're talking about all this Delta State stuff, because I'm just a citizen of Delta.
Yeah,
and Anioma indigenous, yes. Wanting life to be better for people of Anioma, from Delta. I mean, I was part of the foundation of Anioma, host person for the Anioma Economic Development Group and all of that. It's part of my citizenship duty, and I will always continue to do that.
No, you're aware about the zoning of the ruling party that in 2015 the governor election.
I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in it. So if by 2015 no governor comes from the Delta North Senatorial District, you don't have.
Doesn't make a difference so long as the Delta North profits from the way governance takes place. It's about who is the person of quality who can lead. If you get an Anioma person who is really dense as governor of Delta, and he makes a mess of Delta State, and the lives of Anioma people got worse, would you prefer that than if you had somebody from wherever else run Delta State in a way that the quality of life of Anioma people went up? No, I think these are the things that Nigerians have used to deform understanding of government as service. And so people who are incompetent, people who believe in nothing than is our turn, let us share, take leadership position, and that's why we are crippled as a country. No, I don't believe in that. I believe that the best man available, if he happens to be of Anioma extraction, wonderful, because Anioma people have just as much a right to producing the governor of Delta State as anybody.
Okay. Now, going back to that, you talked about your Center for Values in Leadership. It's a new place. You are the CEO. Can you tell us about it?
Well, the Center for Values in Leadership was founded just because I thought, thank goodness, this country cannot continue like this. If this generation has lost it, can we prevent the next generation from losing it by developing new leaders, young people who understand what leadership means? And we identified 3 dimensions to leadership that we thought were critical for us to focus on. These 3 dimensions is to help young people realize that leadership is about knowledge. If you don't know, you cannot lead. And part of the tragedy of Nigeria is that many people who are in leadership positions don't know. All the terrible things that happen in Nigeria is not because they are wicked, it's because they are ignorant. Okay, so we have a lot of ignorant people in positions. Doesn't matter whether they call themselves doctors, engineers, and whatever it is. You look at the person, you know the person does not know. The person has not exposed himself or herself to how the modern state is administered. Hasn't exposed himself to the values that help you. Second dimension is critical, is a sense of service. If you spend most of your time thinking about yourself, you're not a leader. And if you look at the arena of public life in Nigeria today, most people who claim to be leaders are obsessed with themselves. They are consumed by this narcissism, this self-love, and that essentially is the undoing of the man who seeks public life and does not understand that it's about others, not about him. Thirdly, courage of conviction. You talk about ambition, which I find remarkable. I was chief operating officer for a multinational company in 1993, and I was marching on the streets of Lagos on the June 12th matter. I didn't belong to any political party. I didn't care for political office because I thought that life was about principles, about the right thing to do, and about what was best for all. I remember the late Alex Ibru was at dinner, lunch, at the home of the British High Commissioner in 1993. He said to me, "Are you still at Fox Magic?" I said, "Yes." "Yes, something else." Because I'm protesting against the government, because that's the right thing to do. I made a speech at a meeting of the Governing Council of Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, as the apex body of chief executives of major employers in Nigeria. In 1993, I said to them, "Look, you know that if all of us in this room," said to General Babangida, "if you don't do the right thing, we will all shut down our factories, we will close our businesses. That you will not just look away. But if we don't have the moral courage," I remember Joe Makoju, who was then MD of WAPCO, West African Online Cement Company, Lafarge, was sitting next to me at that meeting. If we don't do the right thing today, many of us will pay the price, because we won't be sitting in this room a few years from now, because the environment will deteriorate. And it happened as I predicted. Most of those men, 2 years later, were not sitting in that room. So it's about citizenship. It's about realizing that it's your best self-interest that is advanced if you think of the common good of all. And for me, it has come principally from faith. It has come from the nature of my upbringing and the exposure that I've had. Most of what I have done in life, the way that I have done things, were shaped at age 7 when I was an altar boy in Guzo, of all places. I was an altar boy in a parish called Our Lady of Fatima, run by a group of American priests of the Dominican order. And at that time, President of the United States of America, the very first Catholic ever elected president, John F. Kennedy. And those priests never stopped telling me about all the Kennedy myths. Ask for what your country can do for you, blah, 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 blah. The thing was coming out of my nose at age 8. And those values drove me through life. And by getting involved in public life has been essentially, why does man not make a better choice? Because man is obsessed with self, he creates an environment in which others are diminished. In the end, he himself is much more diminished.
That brings us to corruption. The Anti-Corruption Non-Profit Transparency International released its 2013 Global Corruption Barometer, and Nigeria has been topped the 8th in corruption. What have you got to say about corruption and its effects on our country and its people?
Corruption is killing Nigeria. It's a point that I have made for a very, very long time. In 1996, I was on sabbatical leave in the United States. I was spending a year at the Harvard Business School, and an American television station or network, CBS, in a 60 minutes program. Mike Wallace was interviewing the president of the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan, and asked him, how come you visited this country called Nigeria, the most corrupt country in the world? And I was very upset. And I immediately wrote a letter to CBS and said, I thought you were, I was talking to Mike Wallace, I said, I thought you were a thoroughbred. The first lesson you learn in journalism school is to be careful with the use of superlatives. The worst, the greatest, this thing. You need to have numbers to prove it, to say such a thing. How can you say of a country is the most corrupt country in the world? Well, quote me any day. My name is Prof. Utomi. I'm a Nigerian. I've served in government at the presidential advisory level. I've served in the private sector as chief operating officer of a multinational company. I'm today an academic, and I can stand on top of the World Trade Center and say that no human being can come forward and say, I have ever asked for a bribe or made a decision that favored somebody because of a gratification. Nobody alive can do that. And I'm a Nigerian, and I'm not the best of Nigerians. And I was called by Mike Wallace to explain himself and to try and say, look, sometimes you have to use hyperbole to make a point. It's, of course, there are good people in Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. But your country has disappointed very badly. Your country could have been at a different level if corruption had not crippled you. I said, yes, but you have, I know there's corruption in Nigeria, it's terrible, but you see, you don't have evidence to say that it's the very worst. Amongst the credentials I rolled out in my conversation with Mike Wallace is the fact that I was in the board of trustees of Transparency International Nigeria, which had just been founded 1 or 2 years before. You know, I think 4 months after that conversation, Transparency International published its very first, and Nigeria was the most corrupt country in the world. So I was put to shame. But it's a perception index. I don't know if you watched me on BBC after they published the CSO. Excuse me. I was on BBC television and radio last week. They interviewed me in anticipation of the outcome. You know, I keep referring to a book on corruption. Excuse me. Corruption and Development in Africa. That book has an opening paragraph that says, yeah, I was saying that if any of you saw the reports on BBC following the 2013 Transparency International Index publication, and I was making the point that you know, Nigeria is severely challenged because of corrupt practice, but that the Transparency Index is actually a perception index. And part of the reason Nigeria comes out so badly is that the Nigerian government has consistently, incompetently managed the issue. Because Nigeria doesn't tell enough of its own story. It's bad. We should not even begin to no tolerance for or no, you know, how bad corruption is in Nigeria. However, I've traveled in more than 80 countries of the world. I know Nigeria is not one of the worst cases. I'll give you an example with crime. Nigeria is seen as a country where if you arrive at the airport, you might just disappear. The way Nigeria is portrayed in the world. But crime in South Africa is much, much higher than in Nigeria. Yet the world does not see South Africa that badly. But Nigeria's political leadership, again, coming back to this problem of understanding of what's critical and the exposure and limitation of other people in leadership in our country, we've not been able to work out a way of telling our story to mitigate these perceptions. The The point is that corruption is rife in Africa. I often refer to this book on corruption and development in Africa, which was published by Macmillan several years ago. It was an edited book by two gentlemen called Kempe Ronald Hope and Bonwell Chukulo. The title of the book is Corruption and Development in Africa. The very first line of the book says something like this, that corruption runs the spectrum in Africa from rare in Botswana to widespread in Ghana to systemic in Nigeria. I mean, if that is a continuous label on you, and you don't put out stories, and then you don't have a government that shows an effort, a real effort to deal with corruption, what do you expect? Nigerians keep getting the kind of perception index rating that it gets. So we have ourselves to blame for how we are ranked with corruption. But there's no question that corruption kills. That is the kind of politics that's still practiced in Nigeria. Politics where you sell your house to use to run for election. Of course you will steal. Which human being has made an investment? That's why I say to people who pressure me to run for office, I've said it repeatedly. If you guys are not willing to say this is our collective good and come together, I'm not going to sell a house to run for office. I'm sorry. It's nothing is worth selling you. Because if you do that, if you're human, you must steal. And once you steal, you will deepen the poverty of the people. You will take all this money away, but you will die a pauper. Take my bet. All of those who are abusing Delta will die paupers. No matter what is in their bank account. They will die like wretches. God is a just God. A just God.
Okay, sir, back still on corruption. Is many of your political enemies say that you're not qualified to accuse someone of being corrupt because of your stay in Black PHP. Yeah, you were one time the chairman and they had crisis, and of course it was due to taxpayers' money that the bank was able to resuscitate. They said you have a whole lot to play in the issues that.
Well, if they sent you to say that, tell them that they are. If they sent you to say that, tell them that they should go and check with those who investigate anything. I intend, of course, to make some major statements very soon. My PhD, put me any day, was a political attempt to steal the bank by the Nwanua family. All politically motivated. Go and read Shegun Adeniyi's book. There was a deliberate aim by President Nwanua to steal the bank. Period. Put me, I'll defend myself in any court. There was no problem with my PhD.
Now, good luck, Jonathan.
Have you ever heard anybody accuse me of stealing, of taking one kobo that is not my own? Never. Nobody in this world, anybody who has ever given me a bribe in my life should come forward. There's no such person alive. Not many Nigerians can make that statement.
How do you think the president can help eradicate the corruption or reduce it to the barest minimum?
Personal example is the ultimate one. If you at the top are seen to be completely transparent, I mean, of course that's not all. There are many things that you do. You put systems in place, and when you put systems in place, you hold people accountable, you reduce discretion, and corruption will go away. But you know what? When corruption is reduced, even those who think they're profiting from corruption will get even richer. It's just a short-term thinking that leads us to damage the greater good in belief that we are doing ourselves good. But in the end, we see what will happen to us. I've seen it happen repeatedly.
What have you got to say about this Boko Haram thing? If you are President Goodluck Jonathan, how do you think we can handle this situation?
Well, several factors at play. One of them, on a very fundamental one, is the effect of a failure of leadership. Leadership not sensitive to the fact that ensuring that people get the education that they should get, and therefore the skills that will move them out of poverty, means that you will have people who have very little to lose, who will be available to be used by anybody who wants to create problems. That's the first thing to know. And so, biggest antidote is education, job creation, poverty reduction. If you have those in place, first you reduce those who are accessible, available for all of this. The other point to make is that politics of Nigeria by an elite that is so consumed with self that they can sacrifice anybody, also means that people who are unhappy use any excuse. Boko Haram used to be ostensibly a religious thing, you know. Now everybody who is unhappy with political order that wants to create instability is fueling something, and it's all called Boko Haram. And so you hear political players saying they know all those behind, know all those. If you know them, go and arrest them. Let's get this thing out. But you see, it's all part of the game playing of a small elite willing to keep playing within themselves, not to open up the country for the good of all. That's in the main where most of these things come from. But finally, and very, very importantly, intelligence is at the heart of ridding society of crime. Not gun-wielding policemen. Intelligence will reveal who are involved, where resources are coming from, and there is a great deal of available collaboration on a global level to make intelligence available to go after these kinds of issues.
Okay, you're still watching AniomaTV. After the break, we'll be right back. Action. You're welcome back. It's still interview with Professor Pat Utomi. Back to Delta State, sir. What do you think the governor can do about job creation for the unemployed youths in Delta State?
Well, one of the first things that I think a focused effort on job creation must come to terms with is the fact that for jobs to be sustainable, you have to look at the factor endowments in the state. Delta's factor endowments, and there are many. We can divide up the state into zones of development. And in one zone of development, the factor endowment might be agriculture. You can plant so much rubber in this place and create rubber processing industrial enclaves that you can provide literally hundreds of thousands of jobs both in the agriculture part of the rubber thing and in the processing part, manufacturing part of rubber into global value chains. Some area, hydrocarbons value chain. What are the things that come from the hydrocarbons value chain that you can build a cluster around and interest investors, local and international? But you must invest enough in the education of people to have the skills to work in those value chains. You come to another part, you know, Delta used to be particularly famous for education as an industry and as equipping its people to be competitive. We've taken a far back position in that. We need to create new learning alleys. St. Thomas is in Ibuzo, back in those days, produced nearly half of the Osadebe cabinet. Most people went through St. Thomas is in Ibuzo in that government. Even till today, people like retired Supreme Court justices like Tabai and all of these went through. You can see similar things for St. Patrick or Sabah, just high schools. How many Delta elite are sending their children to go to school in Delta today? So if we rebuild the educational system and make it attractive, and then we create clusters. Let me give you an example, an Anioma example. When we started Organigo Anioma, we were looking at these kinds of clusters. Many years ago, I suggested something that we could take certain kinds of education and take focus parts of the Anioma areas for this purpose. We said we were going to build a cluster on technology around the Ila. We're going to do a science postgraduate university around the Ukwani areas, 3 years from town. Was going to be where we're going to locate one. In Mwesa, in the Ika area, there's going to be a cluster for business, education, and all of that. We're going to start with the cluster around the land. We made contacts with Apple and international partners to start that. We created what was called Leapfrog Ventures. The government of Delta State deliberately sabotaged it. Deliberately. It's not a secret. The governor keeps apologizing to me till today. It was not in his time, but he felt so bad about how the government of Delta State sabotaged this. But in spite of the sabotage, out of it came a company called Socket Wars. That company is the reason Nigeria has e-passports today. It came out of this Ila cluster that we were trying to develop. Imagine that we have not been sabotaged where we will be today. This is the kind of things we need to bring back and get going to reduce the challenge of unemployment, create jobs, create progress for people of Delta.
Do you think this sabotaging is one of the reasons why a lot of Anioma indigenous do not come to Delta State to establish businesses?
Well, it could be part of it, but I think that there is wisdom in returning. I myself involved in a number of initiatives, and I've been encouraging people to try and return and do things. Take politics, take all of these things out. The military came over, returned, took power tomorrow. I would still be living in Delta 4 or 5 years from now. That was my game plan. I believe that economic development in our country is going to take place along certain corridors, what I call the megalopolises. The primary megalopolis evolving in Nigeria today, in my thinking, is what I call the Lagos-Ibadan megalopolis. Within that corridor, I think we will have more than 20, 30 million people in the next couple of years. More than 30 million people in the next couple of years. And with right transportation, you can live in Ibadan and work in Lagos and get on a train 45 minutes, 1 hour later, you are in your office in Victoria Island every morning, I believe that the next major corridor is the Oka Agbo megalopolis that will cover the Nnewi industrial belt, the Onitsha market belt, and what I hope will be the Delta Capital Territory superware stretching all the way to Africa. Anybody who's clever better begin to plan to live around there. That's a better place to live in Nigeria.
Now, talking about, you said something about going back to Delta State and living there. Do you have any, apart from being, for example, apart from being governor of Delta State, can you take your family down to Delta State to work?
I'm telling you that I have been saying this for 10 years. Nothing to do. Look, between you and I really don't care about politics of Delta State. The reason people are mentioning my name is people are harassing me, calling me. I don't want to wake up. It's not important. It's not in my ambition hierarchy. And for more than 10 years, I've been repeating to my family that I will be living in Delta before my 60th birthday. My wife used to think it was a joke, but she suddenly realized that I've stopped joking about it. She's the one who's now talking about building a hospital for her own that she will run, now back home and all of that. Well, it's interesting that she has evolved in that thinking. But when I started talking about it 10 years ago, she was like, okay, this is a joke. No, I think it's a more peaceful living, the way that I hope it will work out for me. And I'd like to be able to do that. One of my great pet ideas is to create a global learning hub and center for research, peace and development. And then I will bring world leaders to come to Ibuzo in this estate that I will develop to sit and solve their problems and go back to wherever they are.
That brings me back to your own place. Are you a member of the Ibuzo development community?
I'm actually a trustee of ICD.
Of the community development?
Yes.
So, when was the last meeting and where was it held?
I was in Ibuzo last Easter.
Okay. They had their meeting last time in Easter. That's great.
I said I'm a trustee. I'm not just a member. I'm a member of the board of trustees.
That's wonderful. Now back to jobs in Delta State and every other thing. How can you score the gap? How can you score him since he became in power in 2008, 2007? What can you say he has done so far?
But what I can say about the challenge of development in Delta is that we can approach it from a much more systematic way. I think that governance in Nigeria has suffered from too much ad hoc. You can see intent, you can see desire to develop ways of doing things, but I have the sense that we can be more passionate about how we make some of these things happen.
Okay. Now, back to the governor of Delta State, the former governor, James Ibori. What's your relationship with him?
But
what have you got to say?
I said some very, very tough things about him when he was governor. Some in his presence. The day that I made the speech at the Grand Hotel after the Delta State government sabotaged that project, Yasama was begging me to stop. But I think that his problem was that he was a young, unexposed person. He enjoyed power, he liked power, he used power. But there's more to life than what they call transactions. You get this, you get that, you are loyal, that. What matters is whether you can obtain immortality in the hearts of people because what you did affected their lives in fundamental ways. A broad spectrum of people, not a few handlers.
What have you got to say about the crimes he was convicted for?
Well, I mean, that is a matter of law.
He was the only one that was corrupt among his friends and in his political dynasty. You think he was just the only person? Because from the look of things, he was only the one convicted. You think he...
Well, as happens with these things, the one that falls into the trap is the one that gets. But clearly, there are many people who are out there who need to pay a price also for damage done to the lives of children unborn because of resources misused.
Recently, you're in UK with indigents. Tell us about the event.
Well,
and what it was all about.
That's part of this whole stuff, you know. I travel around the world quite a bit. In fact, one of the big challenges that people like General Buhari and go had in the discussions we were having was, do you live abroad or do you live in Nigeria? I spend a great deal of my time traveling outside of Nigeria for a number of reasons. One is professional. I'm a global academic and I am a global speaking secretary. Most of my income is earned outside of Nigeria. There's too much corruption in Nigeria, and corrupt people are very reluctant to work with people like me because they think I won't perform. So I solved that problem by earning most of my income abroad. And because God has been kind to provide certain talents, I speak at an event somewhere in Europe. I get the remuneration, it enables me to take care of my basic bills as a professional. So I do travel quite a bit around the world. On several of my travels, I have been literally confronted by Deltas who live in the United States, who live in Europe, and they were the ones who began all these pressures. In fact, it started from blackmail, to be very honest with you. Why do you think it is pride? You want to run for president, your state, you have not done anything about it. I try to explain to people, look, the only reason I got into politics is to set an agenda. Because the politics of Nigeria was without any focus. Nobody was defining a way forward. Nobody had a set of values that would bring us anywhere. Let me in fact tell you the high point of my campaign for the presidency in 2007. It was in Gombe, of all places. I arrived in Gombe on the campaign tour. If you have to you do is you go and call on the traditional ruler, call on the governor. So I called on the traditional ruler. I gotten used to those kinds of general speeches. Make your speech, you will do this and that, and Nigeria will be like this. The traditional ruler will say a lot of nothing, and then you carry on. It's just one of those things. When I finished speaking in Gombe, the traditional ruler takes the microphone and he says, I don't know what the outcome of this election will be. I'm not saying you won't win, no. But if you don't win, please do me one favor. Don't give up on what you're doing. That's the first time the traditional ruler has spoken that. Even the Sultan of Sokoto, who is a very good friend of mine, didn't say anything as strong as that when I visited him. So I sat up. He said, the reason I'm saying this is Nigeria will never make progress until somebody like you becomes president. Emir of Gombe, I listened to someone. I said, look, the problem of our country is that we have all these characters who are holding political offices. They neither know what they're doing nor care enough. So to fulfill all righteousness, they have technocrats around them. Technocrats do the needful, bring the thing to them, and these files are sitting on their table. After they finished all their political whatever, they will open the file. Okay, bring forward, bring under. and they put the thing aside, and nothing really happens. But the day someone like you is president, we know that there's somebody who understands where a country should be going. I was totally shocked, the traditional ruler. So the next activity we had was at the home of the chairman of the Emirates Council, who happened to be former managing director of Afribank. So we got there, I said to him that I have been shocked by the ML, during our call on him. He said, no, I'm not surprised. The man knows what he's talking about. He's a former federal cabinet secretary. So serious people in our country, all over the country, know what's wrong. We, as Nigerian people, have refused to rise to the challenge to save ourselves. Maybe we deserve what's happening to us. Anyway, backtrack to my foreign travels. So, in these foreign travels, people confront you and they literally begin to blackmail you and make you feel that, oh, it's because you thought your state was infra-dig, that's why you ran for president. I said, no. To these groups, each time they raise this, I chose to run for president because I was so frustrated with Nigeria going nowhere. I thought it was important for serious people to enter the process and set an agenda for the country. And that was my goal in 2007. And then I kept repeating, look, my favorite position in public life is local government administration. Bottom line of it all, they say, so what about your home state? I say, I have nothing against my home state. I'm active there. I show them how I've been active in appointed positions in Delta State, whether it's think tank, whether it's this committee or that. So I don't look down on my state. Then the question begins to be, okay, so why don't you? I say, what I don't want to do is to be a professional politician. Anybody who has no other job and says he's a politician is a thief. Anybody who has no other job and says he's a politician is a thief. He should be in prison. A politician is a person who is doing his job. He's a lawyer. He is doing this. And one day there's a call to service. He gets up, he goes and runs for office. Ambassador Keshi. Ambassador Keshi was Nigeria's Consul General in Atlanta. There was a governor of Georgia that was so popular that his re-election was taken for granted. Because it was taken for granted, they were looking at the numbers of the urban areas. His opponents were working in rural areas, convincing rural people about why they should not vote for him and all the kinds of things. So, Keshi came to Nigeria for consultation when the elections took place. And lo and behold, the rural votes swept the governor out of office. By the time he returned the following week, the governor had lost the election. He tried to go and call on him to extend whatever. He said the governor was back on his desk in the law firm. So, let's not deceive ourselves. We cover it up with all kinds of things. Oh, the man is a politician. There is no job called politician. Politician is a service role that citizens go into for a while and return to what they normally do.
That's great. Thank you so much, sir. Now, you have a Lagos business too. Do you have any plans of establishing a similar business?
I don't have a Lagos
No, there is.
I was one of the people who worked to build a school called Lagos Business School.
Do you have any plans of establishing a small business school to complement Lagos Business School?
I am in a dream stage. I don't know if it is proper to share a dream in this manner when it's still in incubation. It's not going to be called a business school, but it's going to be an institute of business, policy, and technology. We graduate MIT kind of school, where our policy affects business, affects technology.
Okay, that's what you're planning. When the dream comes to reality, in Jesus' name. So, of all the jobs that you have had, which one do you describe as the most challenging?
I don't know that no job is more challenging than the other. It's just different. Every job brings unique challenges. So long as you're focused on what's important, you will somehow deal with the challenges as they come.
What do you think is the problem with the ruling party we have in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party? What do you think that they're doing in its own minds that they want to do?
They have no vision of Nigeria that is clear. They have no values that bring them together beyond power and use of power for self-interest.
Not a political party. It stands for nothing in particular and represents no sense of what the nature of man is and the place of organization in making man a better person.
Now, back to your party, APC. What's the difference between APC and PDP?
But there is at least a group of thought leaders who are trying to define certain values. It's not perfect, but it's the beginning of work in a particular direction. You can see that there is a commitment to people. It's a more people-oriented kind of initiative. I think with time there will be sharper differences between political parties. What is more important for now is to create an alternative platform in Nigeria, which really has not quite existed. So if that alternative platform emerges and the thinking people in that platform then drive hard enough an ideology of a people-centered entrepreneurial economy, we will begin to make some progress.
Thank you very much. Lastly, sir, what's your advice to Anioma people? And of course, to those aspiring to be governor in the year 2015 for the Anioma?
I think that they must think less of themselves and think more of the people. Of Anioma people who have lost many of the advantages that they had. Back in the Gowon era, when they began to look at government and federal character and all of that, one of the striking things was the concentration of leading civil servants in the country coming from the old Midwest. How many ambassadors came from the Anioma area? How many federal and Midwest public secretaries came from that area? We have lost this to criminal elements, to people looking for the easy path. We must create a new value system that can sustain our people being competitive, being people of reputation, being people of sustainable progress. That is critical for Anioma.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a wonderful time being with you. I hope to be able to have you give us audience next time we come again.
Great pleasure. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I hope you had a wonderful time with Professor Pat Utomi. I tell you, he is a well-reared man and he's got a whole lot of things stocked in him. And so we'll come your way next time on Celebrity Time Off on AniomaTV. Keep watching AniomaTV. Till then, have a wonderful day.
Pat Utomi, and you're watching AniomaTV.